Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am so excited and nervous at the same time because this is my first sit down video. So I'm hoping that I will do really well. Yeah. Okay, so ever since I started my YouTube channel, I have been getting a lot of messages from people just asking me about the application process and just general questions about Korea. One question that I get asked a lot is about documents. If you have tried to apply for the EPIC program or you want to apply for the EPIC program, one thing that you should know is that they ask for a lot of documents. A lot. And it can get really confusing because sometimes you don't know where to go or how to get these documents or what exactly they're asking. So today, we are going to talk about the important documents that are required for the EPIC application process. The first document that I always advise people to get is the police clearance certificate, or PCC. And this is because this document takes the longest to get. It can take about 6 to 8 weeks to get this document. So it's better to get it as soon as you can. Like as soon as you apply for the EPIC program, apply for the police clearance certificate. So one thing that you have to remember about your PCC is that it's only valid for 6 months. You must make sure that when you apply for it, by the time you leave South Africa to come to Korea, it's still valid. So for example, let's say you are applying in August to leave in February, then I would advise you to apply for your PCC in end of August so that when it comes out dated as September. So you know then by February your PCC is still valid. It's only going to expire in March. And if you are applying in February to leave in August, then I would advise you to apply for your PCC end of Feb, beginning of March, so that when you arrive in Korea, your PCC is still valid. So there are 2 ways in which you can apply for your PCC. The first way is the police station route. So what happens is that you go to the police station and you get your fingerprints taken and you leave your PCC application at the police station. So I wouldn't advise people to go for this route because it can take the longest. So what happens is that the police station is going to wait for more people to apply for the PCCs before they take the police clearance certificate application to the Criminal Record Center, which is in Pretoria. So they might wait like a week or 2 because they're not just going to take your application alone to the Criminal Record Center. So because of that, it can take a very long time. And even for you to get it back sometimes, I remember the first time I applied for my PCC, I had to go to the police station twice. I asked them if it was out and they said no. And I went again 2 weeks later and they're like, your PCC has been here for 3 weeks. And I'm like, but I came 2 weeks ago and you said it had not arrived. So your PCC takes 6 to 8 weeks, but if you apply for it through the police station, it could take about 10 weeks for it to come out because they're gonna wait for more people to apply for police clearance certificate, and only then they will take your application to the Criminal Record Center. And even when it's finalized at the Criminal Record Center, they'll wait for your police station to come and get your PCC, and only then will the police station call you and tell you that it's finalized. And sometimes they don't even call you. You have to go there yourself and ask if it has been finalized. So I wouldn't advise you to go with the police station route. So the second way in which you can apply for the PCC is by going to the police station and getting your fingerprints taken. But instead of leaving your application there, you take your application to the Criminal Record Center yourself. Yes, you can do that. Just tell them that you just want to get your fingerprints taken because a police officer has to take your fingerprints. But then you will be taking your application to the Criminal Record Center yourself. So this route is much faster because you don't have to wait for a week for your PCC application to get to the Criminal Records Center. You can just take it there yourself, or you can use Postnet to courier it to the Criminal Records Center if you live far. So this is what I did the second time I applied for my police clearance certificate. And it costs 150 rands to apply for your PCC. The second document that you should get is your SACA degree verification. So in this process, you send an application form to SACA, and SACA will contact your university and verify that your degree is legit. Korea has a lot of trust issues. Okay, but yeah, they always want to make sure that the documents that you send are legit. You download an application form and you fill it, and you send a digital copy of your degree and your ID. I don't think it has to be certified. No. And then SACA will send you an invoice. When I applied for the degree verification, I was charged 610 rands. So I don't know if the prices have changed or not, but that's how much I paid. So after I paid, I sent a proof of payment to SACA, and then it took 10 days for my degree to be verified. And now, another application that people get so confused about is the DERCO and Apostilling process. All right. So when your PCC is finalized and your degree has been verified by SACA, you have to apostille both documents. So there are two ways in which you can apostille. Well, there are more, but I am well versed with two ways in which you can apostille your documents. So the first time I apostille my documents, I apostilled them through Postnet Brooklyn, and I paid 400 rands to apostille both my degree and my PCC. So because of the pandemic, SACA and Postnet Brooklyn started working together. So because SACA was not allowing people to walk into the building, when the degree verification has been finalized, they send that degree to Postnet Brooklyn, so you can go there and collect it. The first time I applied, I was living far away from Pretoria. So what I did, I contacted Postnet Brooklyn and I told them that I was waiting for my police clearance certificate and that they should keep my verified degree with them, so that when my PCC comes out, they go and collect my PCC from the Criminal Records Center and take both my verified degree and my PCC to DERCO and apostille them together. And the reason why I did this was because I wanted to save money. I was charged 400 rands to apostille both documents, the PCC and the verified degree. So that's why I asked them to wait for my PCC to come out, because had I not asked for that, they were going to get my verified degree apostilled, and I was going to have to pay an extra 400 rand to get my PCC apostilled. So it's better to wait until you have both documents and then apostille them. That's if you are going through the Postnet Brooklyn way. And the second time I applied, I was living closer to Pretoria. So all I did, I booked an appointment with DERCO. They were not allowing a lot of people to walk into DERCO because of the pandemic. Yeah. So I booked an appointment with DERCO and they gave me a date. So you don't get to choose what date you want to go to DERCO. They will give you a date. And it's free of charge if you go to DERCO yourself and get your documents apostilled. So I took my documents and I got them apostilled. And it was free of charge, and I was done within 30 minutes. With Postnet, it took about 1 week for my documents to be apostilled, whereas with when I did it myself, it took about 30 minutes for my documents to be apostilled, but then I had to wait for my appointment. So it takes around the same amount of time, but the difference is that you don't have to pay when you go to DERCO yourself. So, yes. And the fourth document are the letters of recommendation. So only your previous lecturers or your former employer can write you letters of recommendation. So you cannot ask your high school teachers to write you letters of recommendation or a member of your family to write those for you. And your letters of recommendation have to be hand signed. But when you initially apply for EPIC, you do everything online. You don't send any documents to Korea. Well, what I did when I applied, I asked my referees to just email me the letters of recommendation with digital signatures, because I knew that I did not need the hand-signed letters there and then. And they did that, and I applied for EPIC with those letters. But then after passing my interview, I had to courier my documents to Korea, and that's when I needed my letters of recommendations to be hand signed. So one of my referees was living in Pietermaritzburg at the time, and he couriered the letter to me. Thank you so much, Mr. Makubela. And my former lecturer, I had to go to Midrand and get the letter of recommendation for her. So you don't have to get them hand signed right away. You can just get them digitally signed just so that you can do the initial application. But once you pass your interview and EPIC tells you to courier all your documents to Korea, that's when they have to be hand signed. And your letters of recommendation are valid for 2 years. So you can get them a year before you apply, just so that they are out of the way and you don't have to stress about them later. Cool. And another document that a lot of people are so confused about is the proof of English schooling letters. Yes, one of the requirements for EPIC, especially if you are from South Africa, because South Africa has 11 official languages, or it could be more. Last time I checked it was 11. Is it still 11? Because South Africa has a lot of official languages, so they want people who have been taught in English from grade 7. So they require you to get a letter from your primary school and high school, a letter that shows that from grade 7 until matric you were taught in English. So if you are like me and you went to 3 different high schools, you need to get 3 different letters. This process can be very stressful, especially if your school is not communicating with you, so it can be very stressful. Because I remember when I was applying for the EPIC program, it was during the first lockdown when everything was just shut, and I remember being so frustrated because all the schools were closed and the deadline was approaching, and I had to quickly get my letters from 3 different schools. But this letter, it should have a school, what is it called? Letterhead. Yes, a school letterhead, and it should have, it should just state that this is to confirm that this person, it should state your name, your full name, the way it appears on your passport or ID, as well as your date of birth, has been in our school from grade 7 or maybe from grade 1 until grade 7, and all her or his classes were taught in English. And it's supposed to be signed, and it's also supposed to have the school stamp. And yeah, and it doesn't have to be hand signed, it can be digital signatures. So yeah. And the 6th important document that you should get are your sealed transcript. So EPIC wants you to send 2 sealed transcripts. Is it 2 or 1? Well, it depends if you are applying with a recruiter or not. If you're applying with a recruiter, you're supposed to get 2 sealed transcripts. One will go to your recruiter and the other one will be sent to EPIC. With your 2 sealed transcript, they put your academic transcript in an envelope and they stamp this envelope seal with the school stamp, just so that it can show that the document has not been opened or has not been tampered with. So just make sure that you don't open your sealed transcript when you receive them. So when I got my transcript, I didn't have to pay anything, but I know that other people from other universities have to pay a certain amount, but I didn't have to pay anything. I just went to my school and I asked them what it is that I wanted, and they got it done for me, and I left. I was so happy that I didn't have to pay anything. The seventh document is your TEFL or your TESOL certificate. So with this one, you don't have to get it apostilled. You just have to print it out and send it to Korea. And I actually did not get the original copy of my TESOL certificate because in order for you to get that, you have to pay like a shipping fee from America. I did my TESOL certificate with International Open Academy, and when you are done with the course, you can just download a free certificate, and I used that. I just printed it out in color and I sent it to Korea, and it was accepted. But I know that there are other schools that can ask for the original certificate, so I would advise people to wait until they have reach to Korea and see if their school is going to ask for an original certificate or not. Because if the school asks for an original certificate, that's when you can ask their the academy that you did your TESOL with to courier it to you to Korea. And the last important document is the residence certificate or the certificate of residency, whatever you want to call it. Yep, this one causes a lot of confusion because people are like, how do I even apply for that? Like, where do I even, like, I don't know what to do. What documents are needed for me to get a certificate of residency? And the purpose of a certificate of residency is so that you, the South African applicant, are not taxed for 2 years. So I would advise you to get that certificate. When I applied, it was during the pandemic, so I couldn't go to SARS myself. And yes, you have to get that certificate from SARS, but I was so happy that SARS had an option where you can have a telephonic appointment. So you just go to SARS website and you book an appointment. Yeah, I think I'll show you how it's done. And those are the important documents that you need to apply for the EPIC program. I know that it can get very confusing, not knowing what to do or where to get these documents and how to go on about it, but I hope that you found this video to be very helpful. I had a lot of fun shooting this video. As I said, this is my first sit-down video, so I was so happy about it. If you found this video to be helpful, or if you just enjoyed listening to me talking, please give it a thumbs up and share it to other people who may find it helpful, because I know a lot of people are very interested in coming to Korea and teaching here. So just share it to whoever wants to come to Korea. And if you have any other questions, you can just ask on the comment section, or if you don't want to ask on a public space, you can just send me a DM on Instagram. I have left my social media handles on the description box, so you can check that out. So thank you so much for tuning into my channel, and thank you so much for the love that I have received. I can't believe that I am on 300 plus subscribers. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time.